Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, I'm going to be reacting to another one of the Paranormal Files videos. Colin actually messaged me on the last one I did, saying that everything was true and all the rest of it, which it may not be. I don't know. That's not the purpose of these kinds of videos. So the purpose of these kinds of videos is to watch a video, look at the behaviors of the people in the video, and then give my opinion on what I think. That's what I did in that video. As I say, I'm no expert. I'm seriously no expert. I have been diagnosed with ADHD. I'm being assessed for autism. As such, I have special interests and I have certain difficulties. One of those difficulties is reading body language. So I'm having to teach myself to read body language and social cues and so on and so forth. And that is the purpose of these videos. I'm no debunker. I have no desire to be a debunker. But if I see body language cues of stress or deception or discomfort or anything like that, I'm going to say it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. It's no reflection on Colin from the Paranormal Files. It's no reflection on him at all. It's certainly no negativity towards him. And actually, quite a fan of his channel, the Paranormal Files. As I say, I have special interests. One of those special interests is the paranormal. Another of those special interests is reading body language. And the Paranormal Files, certainly the interviews he does, gives me both of those. So actually, I'm quite a fan of Colin's YouTube videos. He puts a lot of effort into making them. The production value is phenomenal. So yeah, I'm not a debunker. I'm not going to be making any personal attacks or anything like that, but I will say what I see. So that will be being said. If you do watch this, Colin, I please hope you take that to mind. This one is called Demonologist Shares His Most Terrifying Stories of Possessions, Demons, and Exorcism. So, do I believe in the paranormal, first off? Yeah, I've got a big cup of tea. Yeah, I certainly believe in the possibility of the paranormal. There's no evidence to say the paranormal exists. There's no evidence to say the paranormal doesn't exist. No evidence in itself is not evidence. So if there is no evidence, then the possibility's there. So we can get into the video and see what this guy's all about.
My name is Sean Austin. I am a demonologist, paranormal researcher, and medium. I've been investigating the paranormal for over 15 years.
His blink rate's quite high. There's no reason for him to be lying about his career and what he does. So
definitely experienced some very unsettling, surreal experiences over through the years, and I'm here tonight in this very unique haunted location here in Illinois.
So, Zach, where's Connor?
I'm in here, but I heard behind me.
It's kind of weird timing for that noise. I was mentored in demonology by Ralph Sarchie. You may know the name. It was the inspiration for the 2015 film To Deliver Us from Evil, where Eric Bana played a cop. Ralph Sarchie, the real gentleman, he was an NYPD sergeant. He first worked with Ed and Lorraine Warren and was mentored under Malachi Martin and Bishop McKenna, which in my opinion were probably the most respected exorcists of our time. There's different ways to approach the paranormal when it comes to demonology. Obviously, people will go and investigate homes. I can actually deal with the situation when it comes to demonic infestations. I can perform exorcism rituals on locations if there's an infestation, but it would have to be a traditional Catholic priest for a solemn exorcism, which would be considered on an actual person. The different characteristics we look for if it would to be a genuine demonic haunting would be things like scratching on the walls, recurring nightmares, foul smells that don't have a rational explanation for it, things happening in threes, which could be a mockery of the Holy Trinity, things of that nature, people being marked in threes by unseen forces.
So at the moment, he's explaining what he does, why people call him, and his training. His blink rate does flutter through, going a little bit quicker to not so much. His eyes do keep going down to the left as he's recalling these things. So yeah, I think we're establishing a bit of a baseline. So let's carry on. See if that baseline changes. That's what we're looking for, change.
But there's a bunch of different manifestations when it comes to that, but that's something that I'd be looking for that type of haunting. Being a demonologist and also the fact of actually being a medium and having discernment definitely puts me in a situation to be able to feel and see these entities and not just experience them on doing cases. I get visited by dark entities before I try to go help families, because time is linear in the spiritual realm, it's all one thing. And they feel threatened, so they'll try to sway you from helping them out, they'll target you, they'll retaliate. So there's a lot of different things that these things do. They try to play games, a lot of it from the shadows. They don't want to be exposed for what they're trying to do. So that's why I would force them out if I was trying to help a family with religious provocation, which is the only provocation I would do with the intent to help people dealing with that sort of thing. Throughout all of my years of dealing with legitimate, genuine demonic hauntings, there was one case that actually stands out to me, and it's a very harrowing story, surreal in so many ways, and it was
So as he says, there's one case that stands out. His eyes went up to the right as he was visually recalling. So this could be something that actually happened. There's no changes to his baseline other than that. So yeah, let's see what this story is. He did, for me, sort of discredit himself a little bit by saying that he's a medium. Now, I don't know what kind of medium he is, but I don't have a very good opinion of mediums, particularly the ones that do the stage shows and charge money for it, because they use a technique called cold reading. And for me, mediums that go out to make money off of people's grief, that's low. That's a really low thing. Like I say, I don't know what kind of medium he is. There are different kinds. We may find out, we may not. I don't know. I've not seen this. So yeah, that's a bit of a red flag for me. I'm not saying that there can't be genuine mediums, but if there are, I very much doubt they're on YouTube or the television or making money out of it.
something straight out of a horror movie that you would hear, and I would think it would probably be the worst. And you think about the movie The Exorcist, and if you know a little bit about the story, that it was originally a boy, but they wanted the innocence of a female that would be more, terrifying for a female to experience this. And this experience I had with this poor girl is she was demonically possessed while she was pregnant. And I would think that would probably be the worst type of situation, having to deal with spiritual warfare. So getting into that story a little bit is that this poor girl was abused as a child, and as she flourished into her teen years in high school, she had told me that she was bullied a lot in high school, and she reached out to a family member that was into dark magic, and they kind of geared her to mess with some of this stuff, and she ended up one night dripping some of her blood on a pentagram to try and take revenge against some of these bullies. And from what she told me, not long after, 3 of these bullies actually died in a car crash. Now fast forward,
So that's quite telling. I am not discounting his story here. However, a child that's been abused, then goes to school, gets bullied, a relative that's into dark magic. This strongly leads me to think mental health problems. Anyone that's been abused will automatically have mental health problems surrounding that. Anyone that's bullied quite often has mental health problems surrounding that. So if this young girl has reached out to a family member who is into dark magic, and really the family member shouldn't have gone down that road anyway. They should have like sought medical assistance. But yeah, this could be the cornerstone of everything to come. So at the moment, this sounds like a mental health issue. Let's carry on.
Ended up having one child, and later she would become pregnant again. And around this time was a time when I was learning about demonology. It was before I could even handle these cases, but I was reading about it. I was wanting to absorb all this information. And I think it's the most fascinating corner of the paranormal, because you think about the most taboo, extreme type of paranormal activity would be with these types of hauntings. So online, she actually saw an image that I put online somewhere of my friend getting scratched, and then started reaching out to me for help. And this started to go more in depth, and I started to become emotionally invested to try to help this girl. And the things that happened that progressed over time are just, I have no words with some of the stuff that I witnessed.
Emotionally invest to help this girl. I can understand that. Did you seek medical assistance? Did you go down that route? Or did you just go, oh, it's a demon? If someone come to me with this story, I'd be, you need to go and speak to someone. You need to see a psychologist and get the mental health side of it at least assessed. If you didn't do that, that raises serious questions on you.
She would wake up and realize she had dirt in her fingers, and she was outside and clawing, in the dirt outside and sleepwalking, and find the claw marks there later on. She would trance out and not remember what had happened before, and she would look up. She was in the bathroom, and they were occult symbols on the mirror, and she had carved an upside down cross on her.
The other part of this is quite often people that have been abused, bullied, and had that sort of start in life quite often turn to substance abuse. So has that avenue been explored as well? Because if she was on some sort of drugs, LSD, whatever other drugs, that would explain a lot of this. So were drugs investigated? Was her medical history examined?
Pregnant belly while she was pregnant with a screwdriver. Now, mind you, there was many phone calls that would come through during some of these conversations. I was in New York at the time, and this poor girl, was in Mississippi at the time, and she would call me when this alleged entity would start to take over. And a bunch of these instances, she would start speaking in tongue, in different languages. I couldn't understand some of it, but I actually decided to try to experiment with some of the voices that I recorded with hers, and I put it in reverse, and she was actually speaking English backwards.
Just sounds like noises to me.
It was something that was so mind-blowing to me. It was just like the Exorcist movie, which I think that's what the priest was doing in the movie. And here I am experiencing this stuff. It gives me chills still thinking about it. One night she called me, and she's like, it's starting to come inside me. And I'm gonna lose consciousness, and I really didn't know what to do. Again, this was way above my spiritual pay grade, and I just started praying on the phone. And I have the recording, and we can play it for you if you want. I'll give you the recording.
You didn't know what to do. Top tip: seek help, medical help, mental health help. Just saying.
You can put it on. Yeah. I'm praying over the phone, and then all of a sudden it gets silent, and then there you are, early 20-year-old girl, and you hear her say, "Sean, she's mine," like in a man's voice, and it sounds distorted and strange.
Do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the divine power of God, cast into hell Satan and all evil spirits that roam throughout the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen.
I mean, so far, I've not seen any changes to his baseline. That means he's either telling the truth or is saying a well-rehearsed story. The phone call overlay footage, I mean, that's easy to manipulate. It's easy to record yourself. So I'm not going to take too much notice of that if he's selling a narrative and trying to sell a story. and he wanted evidence that really wouldn't be too hard to create yourself. I'm not saying that's what he's done. I'm just saying because of that, I'm going to discount it. But yeah, it's an interesting story so far. The alarming thing, as I keep saying, is the fact that he hasn't mentioned trying to seek medical assistance to have mental health assessed or to see if she's been on any illegal substances. Let's carry on.
6-inch crucifix on me, and she cannot see me on the phone. It's a normal phone conversation. I'm not video chatting or nothing. And as soon as I put the cross up to the phone, she hisses at me.
I'm sorry, I need to re-see that.
You know, I had a 6-inch crucifix on me, and she cannot see me on the phone. It's a normal phone conversation. I'm not video chatting or nothing. And as soon as I put the cross up to the phone, she hisses at me.
See, what I was looking at there was, from what I could see, all his illustrators were on point. So his hands are moving with his words. Yeah, I have nothing so far. Interesting. Let's carry on. I haven't really seen any changes to his baseline, which is, for this story, confusing me a little bit. Let's carry on.
Is that a hiss?
And for me, it was a very defining moment to bring validation to my faith, because we're talking about something that's evil, that's reacting to something that's religiously significant like that, and to not be able to see me and react that way, it was so mind-blowing to me, and it was so chilling at the same time. Now, she had a young boy, it's only a few years old at the time, and this boy would be influenced sometimes too. He said that there was a little boy that would come up to him and would tell him he wants to come play with him, and he had died by the train tracks. And he would tell her son to take a fork and put it into the electrical socket so, you know, they can play together forever. Or take all the pills and take all of them and say the same thing. And he was trying to influence this kid to harm himself. Some of those nights that she had called me, one night she called me and the young boy was running around the house and screaming, "The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf, mark of the beast, 666. She's telling me, I don't even know what to do. What do I do, Sean? Now, mind you, I was reading books about demonology, I was learning, and what it is said by these priests in these books that I was reading is that demonic entities are fully incapable of saying the sentiment of "I love Jesus." So, as this kid's running around the house, I told her to say to her son, ask the big bad wolf if he can say "I love Jesus." All of a sudden the kid starts howling, running around the house, and over again, and all of a sudden she runs up to her and he's like, he wants to talk to you. I'm like, okay, great. So he gets on the phone, he's like, you better watch out tonight. He said, the big bad wolf just told me you better watch out in your sleep. He's gonna come to you in your sleep, bite your penis off and spit it on your chest. A 3-year-old boy. There was another time where she called me, same thing, this dark entity was going and coming inside her and she was going to lose consciousness, and it went silent. And I hear her 3-year-old boy in the background, and all of a sudden I hear the kid go, "Look, mommy's floating." And I had no words. I literally had to try to have the kid videotape what was going on, and he was taking selfie pictures of himself, but he was so young, I guess he just didn't understand what was going on. But there were so many instances of what was going on with this girl. So there was a symbol that showed up on her pregnant belly, and we had to ask an occult specialist to figure out what that symbol means. And we found it means infertility, and she's pregnant. And one night I also had a vision of her in the corner, her eyes were like lighting up in different colors, looking out into space. And I was sitting down, just like in this chair right now, and something was to the right of me, and I felt it bite down on my earlobe with sharp teeth. And it whispered in my ear and goes, "Start." And I woke up with the chills, no idea what that word means. And I looked up this name, and I find out this name is a demonic goddess of fertility. You see, there are so many things that were going on, not just what this girl was telling me. I was experiencing stuff And actually, one of the times I was praying for her over the phone, I felt burning on my arm, and there were 13 slashes that showed up on my arm, which we can show you the image of it as well. But again, this is something that, you know, was bringing my faith to a whole new level. When I was on the phone with her, I was just in shock so many times. I really just didn't know what to expect. I mean, when she started speaking different language to me, or for a child, like saying this disturbing thing to me, or if I'm on the phone with her and those slashes that showed up on my arm, I'm just like, I'm looking at it like trying to be skeptical, like I don't have a cat, there's no way that could have happened on my arm. And it stayed there for like a couple of days. It was just a shocking, unexpected turn of events. Every time she called me, it would be something else. I mean, she'd show me a picture of like stools that would be standing up on each other's legs, that the gravity doesn't even make sense. I mean, there were so many different weird things. I mean, I had videos of the scratching on the walls, the slow scratching on the walls. She'd talk about the foul smells, and there's a video of her just being scratched all over her back. There's a video of her while she's laying in bed while she's being choked, and you literally hear this voice saying, "It's Beelzebub."
So if you've got video footage of these things, show it. At the moment, I'm still not seeing any real signs of stress or deception, which, as I've said, could mean either he's telling the truth or he's telling a well-rehearsed story. It's an interesting story. Do I believe it? I believe parts of it. For me, it sounds like an extreme case of mental illness, to be fair. I've heard similar events happening with mental health cases and mental illnesses. That's what I'm leaning towards, that it's a mental illness case. To be fair, that's what he should have done as well. Maybe he did, and maybe he's created this story. I don't know, but that's all I have at the moment. Again, let me know in the comments what you think.
Poor baby, the young son's like climbing over her and saying, "Mommy, wake up," and she's sitting there like choking in the bed. I mean, it's so horrible. It's so shocking.
Mommy, wake up! Talk to me, Mom.
And it got
Okay, so they did have the footage, so I stand corrected with that. However, that did look a little bit like a seizure. Is she epileptic? I've seen someone have an epileptic fit, and it didn't look too dissimilar to what we've just seen. There are other medical things that will do that. In particular, substance abuse. Has she been checked for substance abuse? That'll do that. To me, it looked like some kind of seizure. But equally, this could be a true story. I'm just looking for avenues. It's quite disturbing, though, whichever way you look at it. It's quite a disturbing story. And you've got to feel for the little kid.
got worse and worse. And this poor girl, she gave birth to this child. I had a priest there. I was so worried about something happening to the baby. I had a priest at the hospital, and I have video of it, of the poor baby getting baptized, because I was so scared that this evil entity or whatever was associated with this dark magic that this poor girl did, something was going to happen to the baby. And this baby had complications, breathing problems, all sorts of stuff. It was very harrowing through this whole process. And
very common with substance abuse.
And tragically, this baby ended up passing away. And I look for all sorts of like symbolic things of that sort. And the baby lived for 18 months. And I thought to myself, okay, what's 6 plus 6 plus 6? 18 months. That can't be a coincidence. And you think about the nature of, young girls or kids that mess around with this stuff, and they really just don't know the stakes that are at hand. It might be interesting, and it is interesting and it's fascinating, but it's truly dangerous. This stuff is endlessly fascinating, but there's real stuff that can go on. This stuff can really mess with you and ruin your life. And this poor girl and what she experienced was a perfect example of that. Her other child is okay, and it seemed whatever was in her started to go dormant. I do not think it's gone. I did visit her in person, and it seemed like the entity was still there. It didn't like the fact that I was there, but I don't feel like it's fully gone. But it seemed like as soon as the baby passed away, the really heightened part of the activity started to dissipate and take a step back. For whatever it is, it was connected to that baby. But I hope, with my intentions and my actions and having that priest there and baptizing that child, hopefully the soul of that child was protected. I definitely believe that this baby was connected to the offering that she may have done that one evening and dripping her blood on a pentagram. It wanted that taken up from her. That was definitely some sort of payment. How much more in depth that goes, I don't know. We can only theorize from there, but I definitely believe that 100%. One of the times she actually did video chat me, and she was telling me it's trying to get inside her. And I'm on Skype at the time, and all of a sudden, like, the phone started to glitch, and I saw her face changing, and I actually took a screenshot, and it looked like her face was changing into something else. And when I looked over her shoulder, it looks like there's a side profile of a red-eyed shadow figure's face and mouth right over her shoulder. And then that's when the whole thing like went dark. I just really didn't understand what was gonna happen next. When she would call me, I just feel all this anxiousness, and I'm like, I really don't even know what's gonna happen, but I felt it was important to try to document anything I could in case I could use that in the future to use for, you know, bringing spiritual awareness or to help her along with her case. It was going on. Again, I was at a place where I was learning and reading, but not a place to really help someone of that nature. She was pregnant. I mean, I was telling people about this case and no one wanted to touch it with a 10-foot pole, because think about the story of Annalise. That was the inspiration for the exorcism of Emily Rose. Like, I think if I stand correct, they went on to court for negligent homicide. Because she starved herself to death and wanted to blame the exorcisms on what had happened to the girl. And then you think about, okay, what if I try to help this girl and, you know, have a priest get involved, and then, you know, I could get blamed for something that happens to the baby. I mean, it's scary stuff, but at the same time, I was so emotionally invested to help this girl. She wanted help, and, like, you know, if I saw anyone on the side of the road, I'd want to help them. And it was just very, very sad, very harrowing, and it was also a learning experience for me at the same time, and it geared me for what was to come further into my paranormal journey. But I think it's important to share these stories to let people know that this stuff is real, and there's real stakes, there's real danger with what we get involved with here. We all take risks involving ourselves in the paranormal, and this girl had a real hard lesson of what happened to her. And from what I understand and learning about it from to this present day, is this happens to a lot of females that may have complications with their birth later on in life if they messed around with some sort of dark magic.
Okay, I'm going to stop the video there. There is a bit more to go. So, what do I think about this? I don't really know. On a body language side, he seems to be consistent right the way through. I've not seen any changes, I've not seen any micro expressions. His illustrators seem to land where they should. So, his body language suggests that he's either telling the truth or a well-rehearsed story, as I've said. The story itself, I don't know if there's any documented proof of this. So if there is, I would still lean towards mental health or substance abuse. If there is no documented proof of this story, then it could just be a story. Looking, but going at his body language, it looks like he's telling the truth. So interesting, very interesting. Bit of a harsh story as well. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I don't actually know what to think. As I say, I am learning. I'm no expert. I'm really no expert. I'm studying. I also have autism and ADHD, so I did find my mind wandering. I had to bring it back. Yeah, I have no words. I have no words for this one. Wow. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please do hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts on the video and if you like this kind of content. And I'll see you again in the next one.